Our primitive brain does not want to move. When bad things happen, it's a lot easier for us to stay put and deflect blame. And in March of 2023, I found out that I had cancer. And I can make a choice of how I'm going to continue in this journey, either wallow in my pity or decide that I'm going to change how I see the world. Every morning, find a reason to be grateful. Being accountable, checking your ego, sometimes being open is hard for people, right? Being open is super hard for people, and understanding how to do that. And that requires a lot of energy, and that requires a lot of resolution to change it on your own. I feel like a lot of times when I talk about the glad to be here mindset, a lot of people love the concept, but they even though they think they're skeptical, I think it's more of being afraid. It's being afraid of being able to do a little bit of hard work. So, if you ever felt overwhelmed by really anything in life, a situation, an event, anything like that, we as humans can suffer from two things: task saturation. There's just so many things coming at us at once, or task fixation. These are two common things that pilots like Gushi have to check for, and they have different ways of coping with it. But what I find for myself, when I get task saturated or task fixated, but most of the time I have to force myself to take a moment, detach from the situation, look back, so I can look at the whole field of things that are happening, and being able to say, like, okay, now that I can stand back and do this, I can understand it. In the Navy, we had a phrase for this, UDA, right? It's observe. Okay, I'm going to actually look at what's going on, orient. Let me get my bearings actually without me emotionally being involved in this, and then make a decision, decide, and act. And I find detachment to be a great tool in order to make some good decisions. And I know it's called detachment. I'm not saying you gotta leave it alone. No, you just gotta get yourself out of the situation a little bit, just a degree, so you can look at the whole field and make some good decisions for yourself or for your team. January 2023 was a really interesting month for me. In January, I hear that I am being promoted to a role that I wasn't expecting to do, and I felt a lot of pressure. And, I had some insecurities about whether I could fill the shoes of that role or not. So what I did not know was that, with all those changes, there's ripple effects. You don't know exactly what's going to happen to you at the moment the changes happen, and you can't predict some of the things that will happen later on. To complicate matters worse, after that event in Las Vegas, everybody got COVID, what we call sales kick of COVID. So a large portion of the people that attended that event were sick. I got sick, but while they all got better, I did not. And I did not understand why. And in March of 2023, I found out that the reason for that is that I had cancer. I fortunately caught it at the right time. It was super, super early. My chances were really, really good, but I got angry. I was angry at the world. I felt like it was unfair, it was unjust, and that I was going through all these problems, and that all the things that had happened to me with my family, with work, and I got angry for a little while. And I don't know, it was one of those things I started radiation, and it sucked. The first week sucked. And for one day, I walked into my house, and I'm just I'm under this little black cloud that's just raining on me, right? And I'm just feeling sorry for myself, and I'm feeling sick, and your book was there. And I picked it up, and I started reading it, and I decided, hold on, let me actually think about what Gushi is saying in this book, and how does this apply to me? Let me take some accountability for. There's reasons here that I can't control, but there's reasons that I'm here that I can control, and I can make a choice of how I'm going to continue in this journey, and either wallow in my pity or decide that I'm going to change how I see the world and motivate myself by being grateful about the things that are happening and that are going right. One of the things that has helped me more to implement this is things that I learned through the time serving, and I went through certain parts of my development as a naval officer that were hard, and the way that I got through them was to focusing on the small win. You know, you have to, if you really focus on small wins, you're going to motivate yourself to change. And I actually narrow things down even smaller. When I was in the service, I was like, hey, I'm going to survive this training until breakfast. And if I achieve that, I'm going to celebrate that, and I'm going to go until lunch, and I'm going to go until dinner, and things like that. And I do things like that. Focusing on small wins, but more often, will help you motivate yourself to change. And you're going to look back, and once you accumulate all those things, it quickly builds up to what you wanted to be in the first place. But you've celebrated yourself through the journey so much more that you're constantly just motivating yourself to do better and better and better. So what I think is most important is, hey, look at not only achievable goals, but what can you achieve today? What can you do today to implement change in yourself and in others, that it's going to be easy to look tomorrow and see, that happened. So I think that's most important. So I talk about the AAA being three things: attitude, glad to be here mindset; aptitude, being the laws of combat; and the last one is my flawless execution model. And the base of that is, what is your desired destination? Give yourself a long-term goal. And I just said, I kind of talked about short things, but where you want to be, who's the person you aspire to be, or what is it that you want to do? Set something up that is achievable in 12 to 18 months of what the outcome, the very big outcome in life or professionally that you want. And then identify 3 areas of focus of things that you can achieve between now and 6 months from now that are main contributors to achieving your destination, your desired destination goal. And after that, you have now 3. So I get 1 destination, 3 areas of focus. Find out the small wins that you can do for each of those areas that you can start achieving today, and start chipping away. Things that you can do little by little to get to that 6-month mark, that's going to help you to be in your 18-month mark. That works professionally really well. And for me, it works really in my personal life, and that might mean like, hey, I want to, for me has been like, I want to reconcile with my partner, and and these are the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to build a high level plan, and I'm going to get there by doing this. And then I want to demonstrate that I'm going to get there by every day doing these little things that I'm going to do. The lasting message that I want to tell the viewers of this video, if you take one thing out of these things that I have talked about that works, is positivism. It's actually great. It's being grateful. Moods are contagious, and negative moods are exponentially more contagious than positive moods. So we have to work twice as hard to drive positivism with our moods. They deliver a lot more. So if there's one thing that Gucci says that I have absolutely adhered to, and that is every morning find a reason to be grateful. And once you start the day being grateful, and you maintain it and you pass it on, it just cascades. And sure, bad things happen to people all the time, but if we're grateful, it just helps us get through them and focus on the actual things that we actually want in our lives. Being negative doesn't let us achieve things. It just keeps us in a state of non-motion towards where you want. Being positive, it's harder, but it becomes actually easier with the more practice, and it just makes you deliver all the things that you want eventually.